Hey everyone, it's Bitka from Daydream Nation, and today we have a very special show. It's called That Christmas Show. It's an annual event where I get Daniel, Bicyclelegs. How are you, Daniel?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. Always look forward to these ones because they're a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We go back in time to 1985, Christmas time, and we take a light-hearted look at the top 10 US, UK, the Australian top 10. What we're going to do first is we'll do the US top 10 from 1985. So we'll do 10 to 1, and we'll start off with number 10, Sleeping Bag, ZZ Top. Now, this is off the Afterburner album. What do you think of this song?
Yeah, it's fun. It's, not top shelf ZZ Top, is it? But it's definitely leaning into that sort of comedy kind of thing that they were getting into. I mean, they kind of always had that kind of light-hearted thing with their lyrics, I suppose. But I think most people agree that Afterburner isn't as good as Eliminator. It's kind of an imitation of that album. And but I think of the singles from Afterburner, I think Sleeping Bag is actually one of the better ones.
I actually rank this top shelf, and I'm contrarian. I've done a show on my five favorite ZZ Top songs, and this is right in there. There's
Yeah.
something about this song, the guitar effects. Billy Gibbons said it was the harshest guitar tone he has ever used in any song. I think this is where they absolutely perfected the merging of electro and that blues. So
Hmm.
it was right at the top. All right, number 9 is Small Town by John Cougar Mellencamp. What do you think of this song?
Yeah, I like this song a lot. This is when I think John Cougar Mellencamp or John Mellencamp or John Cougar, whatever he wants to be called. I think that this was when he was starting to really hit his prime. You know, maybe that bit before this with your sort of Jack and Diane and stuff like that. But this is he's definitely channeling Springsteen in his lyrics here. Um, championing small town America and all that sort of thing. The song is anthemic. It's catchy. It's a really, really good John Mellencamp song. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm not that big on this song. I think it's because it got played to death. The clubs or the pubs that I was going to, yes, 1985. To me, it seemed like it was a junior version of Bruce Springsteen. Look, I don't mind John Cougar Mellencamp, but there was just something a little bit about this song that got up my nose. Maybe I found it a little bit pretentious and not authentic. There's some sort of authenticity in respect to this song that doesn't really. I don't find it terribly an authentic song. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's more about me. Number 8. That's what friends are for. Dion
Yeah.
Warwick and Friends.
Friends. Yeah, this is where we're going to see this a lot in definitely the US and the UK charts. Very sappy 80s ballads. And this is, there's not many that get sappier than this. I've never been a huge fan of this song. I wasn't a huge fan of it at the time. I'm not a huge fan of it now. I mean, the sentiment's lovely and that's and all that sort of thing, but it's all a bit cheese, isn't it? And a bit saccharine.
Yeah, I think they're really sort of breathing in the fumes from We Are the World, which was kind of the America's answer to Do They Know It's Christmas? And
Mm.
I always thought that We Are the World, I thought it was wonderful. They raised lots of money, got a lot of people in the project, but the song itself wasn't that strong and it was a little bit on the side of sap. And this is like a cousin or a relative of that song, and it's just ultra sap. And look, Dionne Warwick, what a stylish, she's got a very smooth, stylish vocal delivery, doesn't she? She's an absolute
Yeah.
legend. But to me, Dion is Burt Bacharach, late 60s, early 70s. This sort of music is like lounge music, elevator
Mm.
music, and it's a bit snooze. But there are folks that like it. Um, can't deny it. It's sold by the bucket load. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's what friends are for. Next song, I Miss You by a band called Climax. Now, I've never heard of this band, so I've had to familiarize myself with this song. Um,
Yeah.
were you familiar with this song?
No, not at all. I hadn't even heard of this band, let alone this song, before you gave me this list to get ready for the show. And I wasn't missing much. They're an all-girl group, which, nothing wrong with that. I love the Bangles, I love the Go-Go's, bands like that. This is not that though. This is sort of like a soul R&B group, but this is the really sappiest of sappy ballads again. Um, yeah, it didn't make a dent here on the. I looked this up. This didn't make a dent on the charts at all here in Australia. Um, but somehow across the ditch in New Zealand, it got all the way up to number two. So don't know what's going on there. But no, I didn't like this one little bit. It was probably, except for maybe one other song we're going to talk about on this list of the US, it's probably my least favorite of this top 10.
Yeah, it's a song that really you're expecting a bit of a build up. Like the video clip, you see they're all playing their instruments, and it starts off, and you expect it's going to have a bit of a payoff. There's going to be something, whether it's vocal harmonization in the chorus or a big swell, but it seems to be all throughout the whole song in fourth gear. It's very Mills and Boone, very saccharine. There's no edge, but I'm not the audience it's playing to. And,
Hmm.
sort of, if you like your music kind of very plain and not terribly controversial or edgy, this is the song for you. And it probably sold by the bucket load. So it's appealing to an audience that is just not me. So
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I mean,
what can I
I was
say?
14 in 1985. I liked ballads. I liked good ballads, but this is not a good ballad. It's just really, really trite and sappy.
Yeah, and a band that's called Climax. Well, there's actually no climax in the song, so it's a bit of
Mm,
a misnomer. Anyway, we'll leave that one. Arcadia, Simon Le Bon's little project band that was in competition with the Power Station.
mm,
Election Day. Were
yeah.
you in Team Power Station or Team Arcadia?
Well, that's the funny thing. I think the Power Station album did better here in Australia than the Arcadia album did. But and I think that had a lot to do with um, Robert Palmer rather than any of the Duran Duran boys. But yeah, I like this song a lot. I didn't pick sides. Look, in 1985, I was a bit of a closet Duran Duran fan. I loved that band a lot. But when you were a 14-year-old boy, it wasn't particularly safe to say you liked Duran Duran because they were a girls' band,
And they all
you
come out
know?
of the woodwork about 30 years
Yeah.
later. I mean,
And
we've done,
like when,
I tell you what, I've done a contrarian show. And I think one of the topics was bands that are guilty pleasures or pop bands that you can admit to liking. And every second person puts up their hand and says Duran Duran. And these are
yeah.
metalheads, hard rock fans, punk fans, all out of the woodwork.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're 14 years old, you're in grade nine and you're already a nerd, you don't go around admitting you like Duran Duran because you're probably going to get beat up. But
Yeah, I yeah, look, I know what you're saying, but there was a bit of a cool element about them. Um, I don't know. I liked them in the time. I did.
mm,
And me and my friends, we would talk in science, or because we didn't do much school, we just talk about what we saw on Countdown the night before, and we really dug Wild Boys, and we really dug Union of the Snake. We loved the video clips, and I think as the band got on and got more experimental, and I'm not talking about Planet Earth, but right into their deeper into their catalogue, I think they did pick up a healthy male audience. I don't know, maybe
yeah,
in my circle.
yeah, by the late 80s probably, but not in 1985 so much. Well, again, I think there are a lot of guys who did like them, but they didn't want to admit it because there were other boys who were waiting to beat them up for it because Duran Duran were definitely perceived in my school anyway as a girls' band.
Yeah. Well, anyway, times have changed. Do you like this
Mm.
song?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like the whole Arcadia album. In fact, I think it definitely points to where Duran Duran were going to go when they did the Notorious album that came after this. It's definitely heading in that direction. So, and I like that album quite a lot, the Notorious album. So, yeah, no, I like this a lot. And as I say, the whole album's really good. So,
Yeah, I think it's a good album. I don't think it's a great album. I don't think there's, it's inevitable you got to compare it with Power Station. I thought the Power Station album was so good. Just had a lot of charm with Robert Palmer and, really heavy funk because you had, the bottom end of Tony Thompson of Chic, which is a major tick.
hmm.
And John Taylor playing bass. Yeah, they were a formidable force. But yeah, it's a decent song, but I don't think it's a great song.
Yeah, fair enough.
Number 5, Separate Lives, Phil Collins and Marilyn Martin.
Mm. Well, I know you and I disagree on this, Peter, in as far as what we think of Phil Collins, generally speaking. I'm a big Genesis fan. I like the Phil Collins Genesis as well as the Peter Gabriel Genesis. I like the first three or four Phil Collins solo albums. Not as much as I like Genesis, but I like them quite a lot. But this, no, I mean this is again really saccharine, sappy ballad. Um, I'd never heard of Marilyn Martin before this song came out, and I never heard about her again because I think this was very much her sort of 15 minutes of fame. And yeah, I mean, this isn't even a song that Phil wrote. It was written by Stephen Bishop, and it was written for a movie about ballet.
White
And
Nights. Hmm.
yeah, and yeah, it's just the worst of that sort of sappy, saccharine 80s ballad.
Yeah, it never gets out of fourth gear. It's much like that climax song, which we just spoke about earlier, where you're waiting for the payoff in the chorus, but it sort of plateaus. It just, I don't find that there's a lot of emotional connection between the artist and the singing. And I think if you're going to do a duet, and I'm talking about duets were very popular in the 80s, and I'll give you an example where you've got Jennifer
Yep.
Warren and Joe Cocker, Up Where We Belong. You've got these two completely diverse individuals or musicians, different voices, but there's connection to the material, and you feel that there's actually an emotional connection between both of them. And it's kind of unique. I'm using this as an example of a duet that works, and it's very stirring and rousing. Probably suits the material, Officer and a Gentleman. But you look at this one, it's just flatline. It seems like I get the feeling that these two artists probably met in the studio that day, were given sheet music, they sang it, and then they went on their way. It just doesn't feel
Mm.
like there's a lot of connection. And from a song perspective, there's just no payoff because when you've got a duet, there's got to be some sort of an emotional payoff. Where is the hook? So I'm rambling on a bit here, but
Yeah.
where's the hook? Don't bore us with the
Mm.
verse. Get to the hook. Where's the chorus? All right, next one. Number 4, Alive and Kicking, Simple Minds. I love this song. What do you think of this one?
Yeah,
This
well, I
is,
mean,
yeah,
Simple Minds are a great band. Love Simple Minds. Although I do tend to prefer the earlier Simple Minds. This is when they were definitely aiming for the stadiums. And I think this album is very good. Um, and this song is a great single. It's anthemic. It's got a great chorus. It really does kick up, when it gets to the chorus. It really kicks into another gear. And Jim Kerr, great vocal on it. It's a wonderful, fun song. I really, really like it.
there is a perception that in America they are a one-hit wonder. Wrong. They actually had a few hits off this album. This did quite reasonably well. I think this is the last decent Simple Minds album. I think they really had a bit of a steep decline after this, and it's a bit of a shame because this album was basically made for stadiums. It was very anthemic. It's very much stadium rock, but it had a lot of soul and a lot of spirit to it. And, for a brief moment of time, they were competing with the U2s, that sort of putting out songs that were ready to go right to the rafters from the stage. I like it. This song. It's got a lot of soul to it. All right. Next song, Party All the Time, Eddie Murphy. I mean, how can you give a critique on this?
Yeah, I mean it's all a bit of silliness, isn't it? Um, Eddie Murphy doesn't really have much of a singing voice, and it's not much of a song, but I'd probably throw this under the category of dumb fun. If it comes on at a party, it's kind of fun, but I'm not going out and looking for the record and buying the album or anything like that. So I don't hate this song, but it's nothing brilliant, is it?
Yeah, well, look, he was in the top of the world, Beverly Hills Cop. He could do no wrong. So Eddie Murphy, the recording star, how can you critique it? It's not a very good song, but, his fans lapped it up. So there you have it,
Yeah.
number 3. Broken Wings, Mr. Mister. What do you think
Yeah.
of this one?
I love this song. I've loved it ever since it came out. I remember hearing it on the radio for the first time and thinking, this is something a bit different, you know? It was a bit of art rock, which there wasn't a lot of in 1985. And I really liked that about it. I think it obviously took a bit of a lyrical cue from Paul McCartney's Blackbird from the White Album, you know, take these broken wings and learn to fly again. But musically, it's very of its time, but I still love this song. If this comes on the radio, I'm singing along. Really, really love it. And here's a fun fact that you may not know. The drummer in this band was a guy called Pat Mastelotto. He ended up playing with King Crimson.
The musicianship in this band is absolutely top notch. So that doesn't
Mm,
surprise me whatsoever. This is a very rousing song. It's well crafted, it's easy on the ears, and it's quite easy to believe how this could have been a huge hit. It was quite big in Australia. I think it may have gone to number 1. I'm not quite sure, but it basically did sell by the bucket load. This band should have been bigger. So I think,
mm.
the album was big, but the follow-up not so big, and it was a bit of a decline. And I seem to recall I've done a show with Davey Cretton and Todd Evans. This band got tangled up with the Music Creditorium of America, MCA
Oh,
Records.
okay.
So there's a little bit of a connection here. But I like it. It's a tasty, well-crafted song, and very easy to see how it was such a hit.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, number 1, Lionel Richie. Say you, say me. What do you think of this song?
Uh, yeah. I was never a big Lionel Richie fan. Um, I think I liked All Night Long when that first came out. And then after that, I was never a big fan of Lionel Richie. And this, again, we're in sappy ballad territory. I mean, it's not as bad as, That's What Friends Are For or Separate Lives, but it's still in that sappy ballad territory. And, there are good ballads and there are sappy ballads. And unfortunately, this falls in the latter category for me. And it wouldn't really be much uphill from here for Lionel Richie. Unfortunately, I never really did like most of what he did.
I like his work in the Commodores. I like his
Mm.
work when he's in Motown, and a lot of soul, decent R&B, but solo not as much. But again, it's the audience that he's singing to is not me. But you couldn't avoid it. Did some really bad video clips too, really bad, sappy as hell. I'm in summary, I'm actually amazed with the US top 10 how many sappy ballads. So I think
Mm.
it's a time of the year they get out the eggnog, everyone gets sentimental, and balladry is king, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think that was just 1985 for you, generally speaking. generally speaking, I find this US top 10 pretty spotty. There's a couple of great songs, there's a couple of very good songs, and there's a lot of dross, just just really, really unmemorable stuff. I mean, if I look at these songs, there's maybe two or three of these songs that still get played on the radio. The rest of them are completely forgotten.
All right, well, why don't we go to England and look at the top 10 in December? So see if that's any better and if there's balladry. Now, we've spoken about this on previous Christmas episodes. England likes a good novelty song. There's a lot of prestige about getting the number one in Christmas. They actually have pubs that had betting tote boards and, have the odds of what artists will go to number one. And yeah, there's a lot of prestige about having that number one at Christmas time. So why don't we go through
Yeah.
the top 10, 10 to 1, and see what was number one in Christmas in the UK. So starting off with number 10, Wham! Last Christmas, Everything She Wants. So it's a double A side.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a reason that there's a whole game at Christmas time about avoiding hearing Last Christmas, isn't there? You know, the whole Whamageddon thing. And so far, I'm safe. I haven't heard this song yet. So I haven't been sent to Whamhalla yet. So I don't like this song. I never have liked this song. I liked some of the very early Wham, and then I liked George Michael solo, but this period of Wham, yeah, nah. And Everything She Wants, again, not a song that I think is particularly memorable. Uh, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Not my cup of tea.
What about if Davy Cretton sang it to you? Would it be better for you?
Probably.
Yeah, Davy, challenge. I like Last Christmas. Come on, don't be a Grinch. It's got a little bit of charm. And George Michael's, what a great voice. He could sing the phone book. Look, I wasn't crazy about them in the day, Wham and George Michael's, but over time I do realise that he had a great set of pipes and they had some really decent songs. And, this song is a rusted on perennial Christmas pleaser, and I don't find it offensive comparative to some other songs that are played. So, he had the knack for a hooky Christmas song or a hooky song, and this is definitely one of them, Last Christmas. So I guess it's just Critics Corner.
Mm.
So number 10. Number 9, Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is Coming to Town / My Hometown. What do you think of this?
So yeah, we got another double A side here, haven't we? I mean, Santa Claus is coming to town. I mean, the boss has fun with it, but it's not one of my favorite Christmas songs. It obviously did well in the UK because it's a Christmas song, and as we will see in this top 10, there's a lot of Christmas. But yeah, I mean the other side, My Hometown, one of my favorite songs off Born in the USA. It's the last song on that album, and you want to talk about songs that are heartfelt and authentic. This is a song that's heartfelt and authentic to me.
Agree. It's an absolute Bobby Dazzler of a song. And, this album, putting a great track on the last track, there's no front loading. There's killer songs all the way through this song. And Bruce Springsteen was red hot, wasn't he? Like Born in the USA. This is another album where there were so many singles they extracted off that. You will not have another era like the 80s where they were able to extract so many singles off hit albums. These days, it's maybe one or two singles and that's about it. And, on to the next endeavor. But look, he sings with a lot of spirit. I don't think it's totally memorable, but it's distinctively Bruce Springsteen, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the Santa Claus is coming to town, you mean? Yeah. It's look, he's done a few Christmas songs. It's not my favorite. I love his version of Merry Christmas Baby. I think that's a lot of fun, done live in concert and all that sort of thing. But yeah, this one's Yeah, it's not top shelf Bruce Springsteen, but I don't think it's meant to be.
No, it's a little bit of fun. It's a novelty song. All right, we go to number 8, Dress You Up by Madonna.
Yeah, this is like early Madonna. And yeah, this is a fun song. I liked it when it first came out. But again, as a 14-year-old boy, you weren't going around admitting you liked Madonna either,
Oh,
except
you
maybe to
did.
look at.
No, 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 you did. So I will dispute that. I can tell you, all the guys love Madonna in
Yeah.
school. So I don't think this is a Duran Duran thing. I think that a lot of blokes had posters on their wall of Madonna. So I'll take you to
Oh,
task
yeah,
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
I bet they had the posters up on the wall, but were they listening to the records? That's the
Yes,
thing.
no, 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 they were. I'm telling you.
Okay, fair enough. I like this song. It's very early Madonna. She's still got that naivety about her. She's a bit pitchy on this song. She's not always hitting every note. And
I like that.
but yeah, yeah, yeah.
It has
But
charm.
yeah, exactly. It's that sort of naivete and earnestness that, she wasn't a professional yet. She wasn't all polished and all that sort of thing. I again, yeah, I find it charming. I like that about it a lot.
I've got this theory that things changed on her third album, True Blue. I love those first two albums. I think I will recommend to anybody, if you want to get two essential Madonna albums, get the self-titled and Like a Virgin. To me, I think it's got all those Nile Rodgers type of sort of mannerisms about the song with that really hard, clippy, funky guitar sound. It's very direct. It's very danceable. Look, it's probably not as good as some of the other songs that came out in that era. I'm talking about like Into the Groove or Holiday, but it's still a mighty fine song. It's got a lot of charm, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I like about this song is it's got this almost, it feels like it's almost going to come off the rails, but it doesn't, if you know what I mean. It goes at a really hectic pace, and it almost feels like they're going to make a train wreck of it, but they manage to hold on to it as they get to the end of the song.
Yeah. And you know, I think for a moment in time, and maybe it's around that first album, she was like the cool older sister or the cool girl next door. Um, Subsequent albums, when she became more of a superstar, she became more diva like. I think a lot of people like this era of Madonna because she wasn't so pretentious. When she got deep into
Hmm.
the 80s and the early 90s, there was every album had a concept behind it. And there was sort of an air of aloofness. There was no aloofness in this. And that's why I like her singing, which is slightly off key. I love watching the video clip where her dance routines are like this.
Hmm.
And they're very simple. To me, she had that sort of girl next door, knowing girl next door feel about her before she became too unattainable and diva like. Because I think that when she became more of a diva, she became a little bit less interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fair comment.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
Oh boy, we're back in Separate Lives, Phil Collins and Marilyn
yeah,
Martin.
I think we've said all we're going to say about that song, haven't we?
Well,
It's rubbish.
I will just say, I just think it's because it says Phil Collins. He was
Yeah.
basically singing the phone book. He was everywhere.
Mm.
So, do you think maybe my aversion? Be my psychologist for a moment. I'll lie down on the couch because I have got a problem with Phil. I think that In the Air Tonight is wonderful. It was a
Mm.
moment of greatness and, solely responsible for the gated drum sounds of the 80s. Thanks, Phil. But do you think my aversion to Phil, why I don't like him so much, is because he was everywhere? In Live Aid, he basically rang up Bob Geldof and was badgering him to play the drums, you know, um, on Do You Know It's Christmas? In the Live Aid concert, he caught the Concorde.
Mm.
to be in two venues. Do you think it was the overexposure bit that maybe I'm offended, and a lot of
Yeah,
people get
possibly,
ticked
but
off?
possibly, but I think also knowing your sort of musical tastes and all that sort of thing, I just don't think Phil was ever going to be your cup of tea, you know? Um, yeah, but I mean, I grew up like I got into Genesis really young. I got into Genesis with Abacab in 1981. So, and that was just before just after his solo career broke. So it was like In the Air Tonight, then Abacab, and then like, Genesis was still making really interesting albums then. And, yeah, but he definitely became when this is 1985. This is when No Jacket Required came out, and that album was massive. It's another one of those albums that had sort of, five or six singles off it, and they were all in the top 10. And he was kind of Mr. Showbiz in 1985. And I can understand how like you would have been what, 17, 18 at the time. Well, that would have been a bit off-putting. So,
Yeah, but I just think In the Air Tonight is just so magnificent. It's just a moment of
mm,
greatness, and I just can't reconcile it. We need to do a show about artists that we really don't like but have a moment of greatness, or one song that we do like. And I'm sure there's artists that
mm.
you. I know I'm going off the track a little bit. There must be some artists that you loathe, but you just can't deny that there's one or two songs that I don't like
Yeah,
it, but
probably.
I do like that song.
Yeah, probably.
See the Day, DC Lee. Um,
Yeah.
she was part of the fabric of Style Council. I think she was Paul Weller's squeeze for a period of time. What do you think of this
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, they were actually married for about 10 or 11 years, but
There you go.
they had two kids. But
Some squeeze.
yeah, I mean this is a nice soulful song. I like Style Council a lot. I'm not as big into them as I am the Jam, but I didn't discover the Jam till much later. I first knew about Paul Weller through the Style Council. I was a bit young for the Jam. And I like the Style Council quite a bit. This has definitely got a bit of that Style Council feel to it, but I don't think it's quite as good. So I still like it a lot. She's got a great singing voice. It's a decent song. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I think this is one where the Christmas decorations are better than the tree. I think the song is okay, but the string arrangements are so sublime.
Mm.
Um, if you just listen to remove the vocals and just listen to the string arrangements, think John Barry, think those wonderful James Bond themes. It's sublime, but the song probably doesn't deserve. The song is okay, and it probably doesn't deserve all these embellishments. And when you finish listening to the song, you sort of think that was nice and I enjoyed it, but it's nothing that's totally memorable or you can hum. And that's
Yeah,
where I think the flaw of the song is. And she's got a very fine voice. Um, Probably, it's a shame the song should have been a little bit stronger to suit suit the singer, because she has such an outstanding soul voice. But funny enough, I'm the polar opposite to you. I actually prefer the Style Cancel to the Jam, but that probably says something about me. I had more exposure to the Style Cancel, so I was sort of exploring the Paul Weller story in reverse order: Style Cancel, then Jam, and then solo. So, you know, I probably have a bit of a bias to my first
yeah.
experience with Paul
No,
Weller and Style Council.
that's fair enough, and that's pretty much the order that I experienced it in too. But I don't know. There's just something I like about the Jam. It's got that mod feel, that punky feel. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, didn't sell over here. Town Like Malice. I remember
yeah,
rolling skating to that song. That was like an outrider, but all the rest um, barely got arrested out here.
that's true.
Didn't really do the business, which is quite unusual. West End Girls, Pet Shop Boys. This is a stone cold masterpiece. I love this song. I love it. I love it. I love it. Over to you.
Yeah. Absolutely, I love this song to death too. And although I have to admit, I don't think I liked it as much when it was first came out as I do now. I think Pet Shop Boys are a band I had to learn to appreciate, which is funny because I mean my first music was new wave and synth pop, but there was something about the Pet Shop Boys that when it first came out I didn't quite get. Um, but now, oh yeah, this song is one of the very, very, if you were doing a top 10 Pet Shop Boys songs, this would be in the top five for sure, if not number one. But it's such a good song, and it's all done with the sampling keyboards. This was right at the beginning of your Fairlights and your synclaviers and things like that, and they were using all that technology to come up with this brilliant, brilliant sound. And then Neil Tennant has this delivery that's unlike anybody else's,
Very
when he
droll.
sings. Yeah, but droll, and yet he can be passionate as well. So he really can walk that tightrope. So oh yeah, it's a brilliant song for sure.
Look, they are the quintessential singles band of the 80s. It'd be neck and neck between them and New Order. And they did some of the greatest singles in the 80s. Lyricist Neil Tennant is a fine social observer, and this is a classy song. One thing I want to share with you is that when you listen to the synth line, it sounds very much like Kate Bush Babushka.
Mm,
Have a bit of a think about that, folks, next time you listen
yeah.
to it. Very similar. Love this. Number 4, I'm Your Man by Wham. What do you think of this
So
song?
we're back in Wham. Of this period of Wham, this is probably not so bad as some of the other stuff. I think this has got a real sort of 60s feel to it, and I kind of like that about it, but it's still you know, I mean, Wham was kind of disposable pop. This is disposable pop at its better, because it's got that 60s sort of influence. It's got a bit of that sort of, uh, you know, yeah, I mean, even the production is not very 80s. And yeah, this is a pretty good song. It's not great, but I like this better than Last Christmas or Everything She Wants.
I think it's a good song. I could imagine Dave Clark 5 or some of those beat bands in the 60s or the Mersey bands
Mm.
playing this. So I could see the lineage to the 60s. It's got that retro feel to it. I don't think it's top shelf Wham, but it's mighty fine. I don't mind it at all. So number 3, Do They Know It's Christmas? Would you say this is a kind of a critic-proof song?
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that we've got to remember is that when we did last year's show for 1984, this was in the top 10. So this is
Mm.
making a reappearance for the next year. So, um, look, I think the critics have had a go at this song. I think Midge Ure, who wrote the music for this song, is the first to admit that it's not the finest thing he ever wrote. Um, you know, but I have a soft spot for this song. I really, really do, because it was the beginning of that whole, famine relief for Ethiopia and all that sort of thing. Its heart was in the right place. I think it's less saccharine than We Are the World. It's got a bit of edge to the lyric anyway. Bob Geldof wasn't pulling his punches. And, I think they got a great group of people to sing it to and to play on it. Your mate Phil is on this. He plays the drums. I think that Bob Geldof wanted him to sing a couple of lines because he was such a big star. But Phil never stopped being a drummer. Even when he was a big pop star, he always thought of himself as a drummer. And so he was like, no, 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 mate, I want to play the drums on this song instead. So, and they're very Phil drums. So I like this song a lot. And yeah, maybe you can poke holes in it and criticize it and all that sort of thing, but I
I'm not
still
going to
love it.
poke holes. I think last year I didn't poke holes, and I think I said exactly the same thing. I might have a sneak peek of what we did last year, and I think it's critic proof. So reminds me of a time in my life that was enjoyable. I reminisce and think about it. It brings up memories of Live Aid, the concert, everything that was happening in 1985. So I let it through. I think, and I agree with you, it's a better song than We Are the World.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Shakin' Stevens alert. Warning. You're going to see this big flashing sign warning to our American viewers, there was a brief moment in time where there was this artist called Shakin' Stevens who was a bit of a rockabilly. And rockabilly was quite big in the UK for a couple of years. And he was like a Welsh version of Elvis. Big in Australia, inexplicably so. And he put out a Christmas song. Over to you, Bicyclelegs.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. When I was preparing for this show, I didn't think I knew this song. And then I put it on YouTube and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this song. Um, yeah, look, Shakin' Stevens was like the 80s Welsh version, as you say, of Elvis, but with all the edges taken off, just completely smoothed out. He was someone your granny would listen to and say, oh, that's not so bad, is it? It's just safe and it's got that 50s feel to it, but it's got none of the edge and none of the excitement. And it's just, you know, he is as bland and boring as the Christmas jumper that he's wearing in the film clip for it. It's just horrible.
Yeah, probably it sounds a bit better after having 20 pints of lager. And and it's a bit of a knees up Mother Brown, but I'd probably prefer to hear Mrs. Miniver. That's one for you, Parish of Rock. You know what I'm talking about. Doing a lot of shouts out today. Anyway, keep going. Saving All My Love for You, Whitney Houston. This is going to be so hard to critique because this is not the sort of artist that you and I cover on our station. So
No.
how can we possibly appraise this? One thing I'll say, and I'm sorry, I'm taking over and then I'll throw it to you. She had a wonderful set of pipes, but I
Yeah.
just wish she used those wonderful set of pipes for classic soul music, Motown, instead of doing all this real sort of blando, middle of the road stuff. You know what I'm saying? She was
Yeah.
blessed with the gift of voice. Why can't she do classic Motown?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was the 80s. Motown wasn't really a big thing, but she did pop and she did ballads. And this is one of the ballads. And it's not the worst thing in the world. She sings it very, very well, but it's not a great song, but it's not the most terrible song I've ever heard either. Um, I was never a fan of Whitney Houston. In my older years, I can learn to appreciate a song like this a little bit better, but it's still not something I'm about to go out and add to my collection, let's put it that way.
But you've got to agree, her tone is so clean and she hits
Yes,
those high notes. It's like laser precision. If she's
yeah,
going for a high
absolutely.
note, it's just perfect. And this is before auto tune and studio trickery. Look, there's probably some enhancement, but I'm under of the understanding it was, her going in, doing the biz, and yeah. Look, I just wish she did stuff that was a bit more cutting edge because she had such, in the engine room, she had such a great voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you have it. Number one, Saving All My Love for You, Whitney Houston. And, she was the biggest female singer in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Bicyclelegs, I'll throw it to you. Maybe you can do the lead, and we are going to talk Aussie Top 10. We'll finish up the
Yeah.
show. What was big in
And
December 1985?
we've talked about this offline, haven't we, Peter, that we might be a little bit biased, but We think this is the best top 10 of the three. So let's see what your viewers think. At number 10, we have probably a one-hit wonder, really, with Scandal with the song The Warrior.
Well, I don't know. John McEnroe thinks it's a one hit. He married her. A
Hmm.
little bit of trivia there, but another little bit of trivia. Did you know Eddie Van Halen was mooting having Patty Smythe sing for Van Halen?
No, that's news to me.
It's a bit of a strange one. It's got a bit of spirit, this song, but it is definitely a one hit wonder. I don't think I heard anything else. It's got a little bit of spunk, a little bit of attitude. It's not too bad. It's a good song. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Again, if this is the sort of song that if it comes on at a party, I'm probably going to enjoy the hell out of it. But I don't own the album, and I have no desire to own the album. So, yeah,
There you
it's a
go.
good fun song, and it's very 1985. At least it's a rock song. But yeah, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it.
Yeah. I think we're on the
Yeah.
same page.
Number 9. This is a hell of a song. Divine with You Think You're a Man.
Well, novelty. It's a novelty song.
Hmm.
It's all I can say. It's a novelty song, isn't it? I'm visualizing him on Countdown. That certainly shocked a lot of people.
Yeah.
Larger than life character. Um, you know, Divine was a bit of a cult hero in those John Waters films. So look them up. Definitely an acquired taste. But look, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? It really is. But it you cannot think it's any more of a it's a novelty song. And Australia did like novelty songs, didn't they?
Yeah.
Where you have pseudo comedians and comedians, getting in the top 10. I think in '85 you had Mel Brooks. In Australia, you had stand up comedy skits that, like Ostentatious or George Smelovich that were charting. So it was really weird times in Australia when these sort of things would happen. But I'd be godsmacked if there was any other part of the world where this would have charted top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe, you can let me know offline if that's the case and I'll put it
Yeah.
up.
But look, it's a novelty song for sure, but to me there are good novelty songs and there are bad novelty songs. And to me this is a good novelty song. I enjoy this song. I think it's a laugh riot. I will say one thing to your viewers though, Peter. You suggested that they look up those John Waters films. If they do that, don't do it at work. Definitely not suitable for work, that material.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't recommend you looking up pink flamingos anytime soon on your work computer. All right, what's the next one?
Number 8, we've got John Waite with Missing You. I love this song.
Yeah, he's got a great set of pipes, great voice. I've always liked John Wade in the Babies. He's he's been successful in three phases of his career. He had the Babies, he had the solo hit with Missing You, and then he had that. He was in that band, Bad English. Yes, absolutely. So he's had three bites of the cherry. But this is a really punchy song. He's engaged with the material. There's a little bit of vinegar in it. I ain't missing you at all. Um, no, I think
Hmm.
this is a really, really good song.
Yeah. Look, I think the lyric of this song is a little bit like 10cc's I'm Not in Love, where he's saying I ain't missing you at all, but he's not kidding. He's not fooling anybody.
Yeah,
He's
he
missing
is.
her for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Um, I didn't know the Babies when this song came out. I This was the first I ever heard of John Waite, and I really, really liked this song when it first came out. I still really like it. I'm sure I've got it on one of my multiple 80s compilations that I've got in my collection. And then, yeah, a few years later, he joined Bad English and did that When I See You Smile, which I never liked that song because it was
Yeah,
just like real. power ballad, really bad power ballad. But
Hair metal. They went,
yeah,
but they were very light metallic hair metal. But yeah, I really like this Missing You song, and it was a huge
mm,
hit in the US, I think even in the UK, and definitely a big hit in Australia. And I just like his
yeah,
tone, the tone of his voice. Um,
yeah.
yeah. All
All
right.
right. Number 7, Twisted Sister with We're Not Gonna Take It.
Well, what can you say? This is an anthem. It's got so much charm. I think a lot of people got bought into the video, which is like a movie. It's a funny movie, and
Yeah.
Twisted Sister. Dee Schneider is a larger than life character, and I think it holds up pretty well. It's got the
Mm,
cowbell. It's got a very catchy riff, and I think it's definitely got a lineage to Alice Cooper, because Alice Cooper around 73, 74, and I'm talking about Elected and Department of Youth. It's got that real sort of Alice Cooper feel where it's against authority, aspiring for, being in a better place, in a better position in life, and anti authoritarian, and, just standing up for your rights. I think it's a great anthem.
yeah, absolutely. I loved this song when it first came out. And it wasn't just, I mean, the film clips are just an absolute riot. It's a
It's a
complete
hoot.
hoot.
Yeah.
And whoever they got to play the dad in that film clip, he's absolutely brilliant. I love him. And yeah, Dee Schneider, as you say, larger than life guy, smart as a whip. Um, really intelligent bloke. And this song, as you say, it's an anthem. It's, you know, just perfect for teenage boys in particular. Um, and yeah, I mean, obviously it was a huge hit. So, and I only own one Twisted Sister album, and it's this one. It's Stay Hungry that has this on it. And it's probably all the Twisted Sister I need, to be honest. But yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, they're a real sort of rag to riches success story, and their flame burned brightly just for a brief period of time, because the subsequent album absolutely flopped. It was kind of over and out. They did two albums after this one, and they didn't do so well. But they were originated in New York area. They were like one of the biggest New York bands. They would sell out like 5,000 seaters. They were kind of what you would say a local band, similar to how we would be talking in an earlier episode about the Radiators, a very
Yeah.
localized band, feverish following, and no record companies would pick them up. They really had to break big in the UK and get that sort of rock cred, and they were sort of pushed by a lot of magazines like Melody Maker and Kerrang, and playing festivals with Motorhead, and started to get cred, charted over in the UK, and then come back to America and get noticed by Atlantic and signed to a contract that was really, okay, we'll give you a chance, and gave them a little bit of a budget, and Stay Hungry became a hit, an unexpected hit,
Mm,
probably to the record company and to everyone else. And I think it did about three or four times platinum, which is pretty good numbers indeed for
yeah.
1984, 85. So
Yeah.
a lot of charm for this album, but it's a real struggle story. Like, these guys are on the bones of their ass, and they'd been doing the traps for a long time. And I'm talking about, I know people might comment and say you're wrong, but my recollection is from the late 70s right up. It was a very long journey.
Mm. No, fair enough. Number 6 is a song. I think either the third or fourth single off this massive album. It's Cyndi Lauper with She Bop. What are your thoughts on this one?
I like it. It's got charm. Topic is a little bit controversial, and I think this was one of the Filthy 13 songs that were targeted by the PRMC in
Yes.
America, the Senate committee into, they were looking at putting sort of labels or stickers on albums, and there was a big hoo-ha about record censorship, and Frank Zappa was involved, and I think Dee
Yeah,
Snider, who we were just talking about. And this is one of the Filthy 13 songs. But I like it. It's got a lot of charm. And, Cindy's an endearing character.
absolutely. I mean, she's so unusual. It had Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and then it had Time After Time, which was just as
Mm,
big a hit. And then She Bop, and I love this song. And I love this album, and I love Cyndi Lauper. Um, she was different at the time, her look was different, her
mm.
vocal sound was different. She had a great voice, but it was a very unique voice. And and I love this song. This has definitely, got a new wave feel to it, which obviously, that was my first love musically, so that really connects with me as well. We won't talk about what the song is about because we're going to protect Peter's monetization. But yeah, I mean it's a great song. I love it to bits.
Yeah, there were a few songs that had the word bop in that year, weren't there? There was Mondo Rock, Pat Wilson. So it was the year
Yes.
of bop, BOP, wasn't it? What was the Mondo Rock song that had bop?
The modern bop.
The Modern Bop, yes. So, yeah, 1985, folks, the year of the bop.
All right, getting into the top five now. And number five is a song I think is an absolute anthem, and that is U2 with Pride in the Name of Love.
Like this song a lot. It's got a lot of spirit. Unforgettable Fire is a really, really good album. And this is one of the strongest songs on the album. It's their sort of a note to Martin Luther King, and it's a rusted on part of their live set. So this sold
Yeah.
by the bucket load. This song, I think, was in the Australian charts for like it seemed like half a year. It was
Mm.
inhabiting and camping in the top 10. So
Yeah, it was there for a long time. And yeah, I agree. Unforgettable Fire is a great album. It's I did a show recently with John the Music Nut, our good friend, where we talked about Under a Blood Red Sky, and we were talking about how those first three U2 albums, they didn't sound very comfortable in the studio, and how the songs on the live album are much better versions. I think with Unforgettable Fire, that was where they first really sounded comfortable in the studio. They were working with Brian Eno and they were working with Daniel Lanois. And I think that made a huge difference. And you can hear it in this song. It's an absolute anthem. They still, as you say, still play it in live shows to this day. It's about Martin Luther King. It's, a tragic story, but it's just, and it's one of those songs that, you get a bunch of drunken blokes together and they're all going to sing that chorus at the top of their lungs, aren't they? But yeah, it's a great
mm,
song.
yeah, and I think you're right. I think this they sounded much more comfortable on this album, and especially around the sonics around Edge's guitar, it really perfects and kind of makes it radio friendly. And I don't say that in a derogatory sense, but makes it more accessible. That changy chiming sound of the Edge. I think this was the song that really brought U2 to the masses, made them accessible.
Yeah, absolutely. So at number four, we've got Culture Club with the War Song. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on this one, Peter.
War is Stupid. Yeah, it's not very good. It's not a very good song. Um, this is probably the decline of Culture Club, isn't it? What was the album of this?
This was
I
the
know he
second album.
third. No, I think it's third album. He had red hair on this. Is it, or was
Oh,
it?
okay, yeah.
I don't know.
But
I find this song War is a bit simplistic, and the lyrics are terrible. Like War is Stupid. You know. Um, no, I don't.
yeah.
I don't like this song at all. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Culture Club, but this song, if I was going to sum this song up in one word, it would be the word twee. It's twee. It's like it was written by a 6-year-old. You know, it's got about as much profundity as a 6-year-old could come up with about what do you think of war? Oh, it's stupid. Um, you know, bands like Culture Club, I love to death, but they shouldn't be doing message songs because they're not U2, are they? They're not Bruce Springsteen. They don't have the insight. You know, Boy George, God love him, he just doesn't have the insight into a problem as all encompassing as, war and all that sort of thing. And he ends up writing this incredibly vapid lyric. And musically, it almost sounds like children's music too. So yeah, no, this is an absolute misfire from Culture Club for me. So number three, we've got Ray Parker Jr. with the theme song from Ghostbusters.
I think this is critic proof. It's an enjoyable song. Um, I like it a lot, but it's probably the kid in me that loves this movie, and it's all part of the package. So you every time I hear this song, it brings a smile to my face. It makes me happy. It reminds me of the movie Ghostbusters, and it's more of an emotional reaction. So
Mhm.
I can't really critically appraise this song,
Yeah.
other to say that I like it a lot.
There's not much going on in this song, is there? But I agree, I love this song to death because it's fun, it's harmless, it reminds me of that movie. And the original Ghostbusters film might be one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. I love it to death. I saw it at the cinema, and
Same.
I've seen it probably 50 to 100 times since. So, and the theme song just makes you think of that movie, but also it's just so much fun. It's just, forget about being deep and meaningful and all this sort of thing. This song is just unbridled fun. And sometimes you just need something like that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not gonna knock it. I love it, and I think I actually saw this movie in the cinemas around this time, just before Christmas in 1985 or 84.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I get mixed up, but it was around Christmas. I remember that.
Yeah. So number two, we've got George Michael stepping out solo for Careless Whisper. Um, you did a show many, many moons ago about your favorite songs with saxophone in it. I'm guessing this song did not crop up in that show.
No, it didn't. But there's a mighty fine sax solo on this, or sax line on this song. And yeah, check it out. I did a show with Todd Evans where we picked our five favorite sax lines. But yeah, it's a very tasty sax line indeed. Look, this guy can sing the phone book and still sound captivating. Um, you know, but am I the audience that would buy this sort of stuff? Probably not. But I have to admire it. Great vocalists. It's a nicely arranged pop song, but I'm not the intended audience for it. And I'm not going to be a Grinch and say I don't. I appreciate it. That's what
Yeah.
I do. I have an admiration for it, but it's not a song that I would buy.
It's cheese. It's prime quality cheese, but it's cheese. And that sax line is pure cheese. But I always thought it was odd that this song was released as a George Michael solo song rather than as a Wham song, because it's one of the very few songs from the Wham era that was actually co-written by George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley. So, most of the songs were written by George Michael on his own. So, why this one was specifically released as a George Michael solo song? It's on a Wham album. It's just one of those strange things that I don't understand. But
Well, I think the record company knew that the game was up with Andrew Ridgeley, that he was just a passenger, and they needed to get on the jockey George Michael. He was going to be the person that was going to the next album, or maybe the next album after was going to be the solo album. And, let's put it out to market as a George Michael solo and just see how it goes. And it became a smash. So that really further marginalized Andrew in the band and the whole scheme of things. They were boyhood friends, school friends. They put a band together. But at the end of the day, he was definitely like right in the shadow, under the shadow of George Michael's, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But at least he got the co-write on this song, and that alone is probably keeping him in money for the rest of his life. So,
Well, he was racing cars for a period of time,
mm,
getting into F1 and doing all sorts of different things. So that did set him up for life. But that's my theory. I think the record company were dipping their toes in the pool to see how. Let's market this as a solo song and see how it went, and became a smash. That really set things in place for Faith, didn't it? The smash hit solo album.
yeah, you could be onto something there. And the number one song in December of 1985 here in Australia, Stevie Wonder with I Just Called to Say I Love You.
No, thank you. That's all I got to say. No, thank you. Stevie, just put the phone down. Okay? No. This is
No?
Stevie Wonder at his worst.
Mm,
Sorry. Um, oh, well, take over.
mm.
What do you got
Look,
to say?
uh, look, it is Stevie Wonder at his worst, but I'd rather hear Stevie Wonder at his worst than a lot of other people at their best. So I'm a
Well,
huge Stevie Wonder fan. I didn't think that much of this song back in the day. I still don't think it's anywhere near his strongest material now, but there's something about it that I still like. So I don't love it, but I don't hate it the way you seem to. So
yeah, well, at least he's not playing that squeaky harmonica. Look at that show that I did with Todd Evans. He's got that in the pocket. But no, it's just so Mills and Boone. It's so postcard. It's hollow. I don't like it. Where's the Stevie that had edge? Those wonderful soul albums that he did. Master Blaster, and those '70s albums where he was really being experimental, R&B, soul. Um, where's that gone? It's like no soul. It's
yeah,
just
I mean,
it's
again, it
just
was 1985. I don't think there was a big market for that anymore. So he'd always had a line in ballads, you know. I mean, you go back to like Talking Book from 1972. You've got a song on there like "You Are the Sunshine of My Life," which is a better ballad than this one. I want to make that absolutely clear. But Stevie Wonder had always done ballads, even when he was little Stevie Wonder in the
mm,
60s, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hate this song, but I don't love it either.
yeah. I think it's because the arrangements are quite thin. There's not a lot of instrumentation on it, and it sounds like he's playing on a Casio tone keyboard. So I don't know. There's just something about this song that I felt really thin, very shallow. It sounded like it was recorded very quickly, and the sentiments are just very, not terribly deep. It doesn't go any more than a
Hmm.
postcard, and you compare it to the body of work that Stevie did before. I think it's a huge step down. Ebony and Ivory was terrible, and this is the bad period for Stevie Wonder, I think. Bicyclelegs, I've really enjoyed doing this show. Folks, please check out Bicyclelegs channel. Wonderful, wonderful shows. I'm a regular guest, and I really enjoy having a yap about all different types of music. So check it out. I'll put the link below. Tell us what you think about these songs in 1985, the good, the bad, the indifferent. Maybe there's some comments that you disagree with us. Throw some, you might want to throw a couple of sticks at us. We don't care. It's all fair in love and war and YouTube. Merry Christmas, Bicyclelegs. It's wonderful having you on the show this year, and I'm looking forward to doing more shows in 2026. We'll catch up with you soon. Cheers. All the best. See
Bye.
ya.